Last year, if you remember, it was pretty dismal for the UK. I think we did hit rock bottom in terms of sentiment. It wasn't just Brad Smith. Lots of other businesses were very critical of the business landscape in the UK, from Dyson to AstraZeneca, Arm listed in the US, if you recall. By the end of the year, though, the data and sentiment did seem to shift. And so Philip Aldrich and I did another sort of deep dive. Berenberg, Deutsche Bank economists were looking at the silver linings for the UK economy and asking whether there's actually a more bullish case to be made for the UK. So the WPP Chief Executive Mark Reed saying that actually this year could be one of those years where we feel a little bit better as the year progresses. We also had a lot of positivity from other CEOs. For example, the CEO of British Land, the Legal and General Investment Management CEO, Michelle Scrimgeour, and also the Lloyd's of London CEO, John Neal. He was saying that actually the insurance business is looking really positive. He was looking to the US, where most of their growth is, saying that there is a big business, that what we do here in London is really unique in terms of insurance. He was a bit more worried about financial services overall, but even he was saying that he does feel much more positive now. Have a listen to what he said.
Yeah, we've seen a wealth of delisting on the FTSE. We've seen real challenges around investment and funding in the UK. We need to get that back on track. You know, part of the livelihood and well-being of UK PLC is as a global financial services centre.
So that was John Neal, the CEO of Lloyd's of London, speaking to me. He was saying that the backdrop is better. He was more positive because of the government's Mansion House reforms, the Windsor framework when it comes to the UK's relationship with the EU. He does also, I think this is quite important, want to see a two-term government. So there is very much a realisation at the heart of business in the UK that we need policy making for the long term and, as Michelle Scrimgeour said, something that transcends government in terms of policy making.
So I wonder whether, when you speak to chief executives, whether they think, look, actually the UK is a good house in a bad neighbourhood because of everything that's going around the world, or whether they really think there's, you know, real progress. Yeah,
I think that's a big question, isn't it? I do think the positives are inflation is coming down. There could be an interest rate cut. Wages have been improving. For the past 6 months, we've seen wages gain. The Marks and Spencer's chairman, Archie Norman, who spoke to me last year when we did the reporting about Britain being adrift and uninvestable, came back to speak to us at the start of this year, and he was saying, look, people are genuinely better off. That's better for the M&S customer, but also that does signal that actually there may well be recovery. Business investment also went up last year, and longer term there is more positivity about artificial intelligence. Maybe that could deliver big productivity gains for the UK. WPP CEO Mark Reed was saying they're already implementing it, and it's creating 20 to 25% greater productivity for some of their employees. Here's what he said about AI.
I think it's a massive opportunity for us. I mean, at one level you could say, well, the large language models, they're all being created in America. But actually, what you can do with AI is get access to these models extremely cheaply. Because we're a service-based economy, it could make our service structure much, much more productive, much, much more efficient. And I just think we have to lean into it and embrace it.
So that was the WPP CEO, Mark Reed. Look, there is a bit of a disconnect between business people and investors. We did an MLive Pulse survey on investors. Almost half of them think that the UK's living standards are going to go down in the next 5 years. Only 17% were positive. So there is still a bit of a disconnect, but some more optimism ahead of the budget.